Hey, what's going on, everyone? Justin again, as always. Thanks for watching my channel. Welcome back. Cheers to those of you that have your beers. I know it's Colorado piss water. Stop reminding me. It's what I enjoy. It's what I can afford. It's what I got. So, if you have something better, good for you. At any rate, getting on with today's subject, which is going to be buying cheap tools, buying expensive tools, buying fucking tools in general. Tools that make you money. How do tools make you money? How do tools not make you money? And why this trade is so freaking expensive to get into. So let's get right into it. If you're a shop owner, you're going to end up buying, you're going to have a need. You're going to have to buy tools. You're going to have to buy licensing agreements. You're going to have to get your ASCs and this, that, and the other, especially if you need a specialty at that shop like smog or undercar specialist or whatever. So lots of different things going into that. There are going to be tools that are going to be absolutely crucial for you to own for your business, depending on the type of business or shop you're trying to run. So if you're a trans shop, guess what? You're probably going to want transmission jacks. But whether they're floor jacks or lift jacks, you're going to want a transmission table or two so you can drain, disassemble, reassemble transmissions. You might even want a huge transmission vise where you slide the deal in, you bolt the bell housing, bolts to the bell housing with the transmission straight up and down so you can just get in there, pull out your gear sets, lay them all out in order. You might want pegboard with hooks so you can designate, low reverse, reverse, neutral, first gear, second gear, high gear, etc. So you're going to need certain things for that specialty shop. Ergo the same thing when it comes to like smog machines. If you do smogs, you're going to want smog machines. So that's equipment that's going to be that you're going to need that's going to help you to make money. So in that regards, yes, those tools will make you money. As far as mechanics, individual mechanics go, okay, so you work at an independent shop or you work at a dealership. Maybe you're flat rate, maybe you're hourly plus commission. Maybe you're solely based off of some kind of, it's just like, there's so many different ways that they pay technicians nowadays, but let's just say that you're in that flat rate or flat rate plus commission category. How will the tools help you make money then? Well, you have to be very particular about what it is that you purchase and purchase the things that are going to make your job move a little bit quicker. It's more expedience, because expedience is key. Being faster, being able to cruise through the work. You're going to learn as you go where the nuts and bolts of things go. If you're a diagnostician, you're going to know right away what you're looking for, how you're looking for it, depending on the vehicle symptoms and everything else. You'll have the scan tool and you already know what to do. You already know where to go. Same thing with your nuts and bolts guy or your mechanic. He's going to already know what tools he needs. He might even have them all laid out where he wants to throw what magnetic tray, and he's just going to start rolling. So in that regards, there's going to be specialty tools or things that you might need. Maybe it's just something that's going to make you a little quicker. Like maybe you have a ratchet wrench set, but you need a flex head because you can't quite get a ratchet back there or whatever. So you buy some flex head ratchet wrenches. Or maybe you need you have a line wrench set, but you can't get to it from the angle that you're at, so you buy some crow's feet with the flare nut end. So you can just dive it down with a 3/8 extension and crack the line loose on the gearbox and bam, bam, right? But you wouldn't have known that until you got to that situation where you needed that one specialty tool. You might get to a point where, like with some of the tools that I've shared in other videos, hose pinch-off pliers. Maybe you're doing something real quick that requires you to remove the coolant reservoir bottle out of the way to get down to something. So you pinch off a few hoses, clamp them down so you don't lose coolant, flop the thing over, tie it off with bungee cords, and get down to what you got to get down to, do what you got to do, throw it all back together, fire it up, make sure you don't have any leaks, and you didn't lose a lot of coolant. So there's all these different little things that you might need that, in a sense, buying certain tools, if you're really particular about it, they will essentially make you money because you are able to go faster, in which case you'll accumulate more hours and time, and as a result, you get paid more. Inadvertently, you are going to end up spending money on tools that look very useful, that look very practical, or that you might find yourself in a position of needing, and then only after so much time or so many uses of utilizing that specific tool, you realize you didn't need it, you don't hardly use it, or maybe you got it and it's just a piece of crap and it breaks every freaking time you go to use it. I've had those tools, believe me. I didn't bring it up in the last video, but my Matco fuel pressure gauge set, the master set that I got, it's just been trial and error, man. I've just had issues with that thing. I don't even know what the cause of it is, to be honest. We're still trying to, me and my Matco tool guy are trying to diagnose the issue and figure out what it is. Because one time I had a hose blew, whatever, warrantied it out, fixed that. Another time the gauge stopped working, or at least we thought it did. Swapped the gauges out. A little while later, still didn't work. So we were determined that there was a Zerk fitting that wasn't all the way tightened down. Then it started to work again. Now all of a sudden it wasn't working again. And so out of courtesy, swapped the gauge out for me again. So the next time I go to use it, we'll see if it actually works. If it doesn't, then there might be an issue with this one particular line. I don't know until I start using it on different stuff. Unfortunately, I didn't have any vehicles besides one that had no communication between the PCM. So there's no way to actually see if the fuel pressure's getting there because the fuel pump's not running because there's no communication to the PCM. So the only vehicle I could have hooked it up today to see if that would work doesn't run. So gonna have to wait. But there are certain things that I have purchased along the way that I thought would be practical, that would make me money, that have just turned out to be fluke items. You know, like, well, that didn't work out so well. I put it over here, or I don't use it as much. I put it over here. So I've got all these freaking, tools that I purchased along the way. Some I've done reviews on, some of them I haven't. They're just inside the toolbox tour. A lot of them I utilized when I was at the dealership because you're pretty much on your own in the own little corner unless you're borrowing from other techs around you. And like I said, now in another video, I'm at the independent shop where everyone pretty much shares amongst everybody. And for the most part, what it is that I do currently at the independent shop is I'm a mechanic. So if it requires me to take the nuts and bolts off, I can get everything done out of one little service car. I don't need a huge ass toolbox to get it done with. So, the learning curve of things. When I was at the dealership, I needed this big ass toolbox. I had all these tools that I had to have to get jobs done because I was always doing random stuff. Sometimes it was electrical and diag, sometimes it was software updates, sometimes it was heavy line. For the most part, it was heavy line. And then sometimes it'd be some BS recall, like an airbag or something like that. So, I have purchased my fair share of tools for that, but now being at the independent shop and what it is that I'm currently doing, most of my stuff I keep here at the house. I've got what I need to function out of. I rarely ever have to borrow anything, and it's, I've started to learn there are certain things that I didn't need. So now I'm in this position where I'm trying to pay back a bunch of tools that I have, and I don't use, but half of them now. So you will run into that too. Trial and error tools. You're also going to pick up certain tools that you think are worth it, like the Cornwall ratchet I picked up that completely sucks ass. I'm going to try to return it because it has been short time. Sometimes you don't always have that luxury though. Sometimes the guy doesn't show up, or it's been too long, or you're outside of your warranty and you're just stuck with it. So that stuff happens too. Gimmicky tools. How many of us have bought tools that looked like they would serve a really good purpose and just look absolutely phenomenal, and then we go to use it and we realize, it was more of a gimmick really than anything else, and it doesn't freaking work, I think a lot of us have run into this before because we try to go onto YouTube. I mean, we didn't have YouTube when I first started wrenching. YouTube was morely like people sharing random stuff about friends, family, this, that, and the other, and then a lot of it was like documentaries and things like that. There really wasn't a huge following or anyone really doing anything like discussions about tools or discussions about automotive stuff. Occasionally you get a how-to video tossed up there, but that was pretty much it. Now you've got just tons and tons of channels with tons and tons of information, whether it's about how to do a repair, talking about shop life, talking about tools, whatever. So much more information nowadays available that I didn't have when I first started. So I try to share a little bit of my experience with you guys, whether it's something that I've owned, used, currently used, picked up. Maybe it's something new. Maybe it does feel like an impulsive buy and it's a little bit gimmicky, but I'm like, I can see some uses behind that because I've run into these situations and that would be really handy to have, and then the tool doesn't work out and I'm like, well, that kind of sucks. So I got two options. One, I keep it because I'm outside the warranty period, or two, I give it back to them and say, hey, it just didn't work out. Can you either apply it back to my credit, give me a different one, or trade it out for something completely different? Let me know down in the comments if you know what I'm talking about. If you've run into situations where, you've purchased tools that didn't work out for you. If you're in that position right now where you're trying to buy tools and you're not sure if you need them. Whether you're working for a dealership, independent shop, like I said, guys, how can tools make you money? It depends on your position. Depends on what it is that you're doing. If you're a shop owner or if you're running on flat rate plus commission, yeah, they can make you money. But they can also cost you a shit ton, especially if you're doing it by trial and error. Trying something new or trying a different product line and getting your, debt racked up there by buying all these, essentially unnecessary tools. Try to run with what you got for a while. See if it works for you. Try to get it cheaper if you can. Buy it online if it's possible. Amazon's a great place. A lot of the stuff that I buy off the tool trucks, we all know, has been rebranded by one company or another. The information's out there and it's all being sold pretty much on Amazon, for the exception of a handful of things that you can pretty much only specifically buy from certain tool trucks. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. That's all I got for this video, guys. Thanks as always for watching. Remember, if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, give it a thumbs down. We'll see you next time. Deuces.